You guys get some personal time with the holiday weekend?
Yeah, well,
Good.
a little bit. Good
Yeah.
to see you again.
Opposition leader Tim Hudak dropped by the London Free Press to talk about a wide range of subjects, including the possibility of a spring election. And we asked him about the chances of his Tories winning that election. There's been scandal after scandal in Ontario. The economy is still struggling. And yet people don't want to have an election. We asked him why.
Is that it breaks my heart, but people don't often like politicians knocking on their doors. It's the reality. But if you ask people, do they want change? Do they want to go down a different path than we're on today? It goes off the charts and people saying yes. They believe Ontario can get back on its feet. We can bring good jobs here. We can make sure government respects taxpayer dollars. And people know that we're not going to get that from the current government. I mean, we've seen this act for far too long. So if you ask people if they want change, a different course, they'll say yes, absolutely.
Of course, one of the big issues in southwestern Ontario is wind power, and he spoke about what his government would do with the wind turbines that are already on the books and what they would do or how they'd view the possibility of offshore wind turbines.
I mean, you put an important irony too. So you had the government that did a moratorium in the lakes to protect the fish and the birds. Yeah. What about people and communities? Why don't we take a similar approach when it came to land-based wind turbines? Right. Look, I just think that we have so many things in the queue right now, Greg, and we already are deep into this hole. I don't see adding on wind farms in the lakes, in our provincial parks, on the Niagara Escarpment. In fact, I think we got to get back to basics on our energy. And if we want to attract auto parts jobs, we want to attract jobs in steel, aerospace, we need to get energy rates under control, and that's why the future of energy, I think, should be built around the workhorses of our system: nuclear power, hydroelectricity, which is renewable, and natural gas.
Of course, jobs are a big issue all across Ontario, especially in southwestern Ontario. And Mr. Hudak used a surprising term when he described the conditions of the economy in southwestern Ontario.
Well, it's heartbreaking. And this is a province, the part of the province that I love. I enjoy being here. And my family actually comes from Sarnia. Yeah. My mom born in Petroleum, my dad in Sarnia. My grandparents on the Hudak side were immigrants from then Czechoslovakia that settled in Sarnia, opened up a small business. And it's heartbreaking to come back and see the kind of unemployment we have, or to drive through London, through St. Thomas, through Chatham, and see the empty shells, the skeleton of what had once been a very powerful and proud manufacturing sector that's now hollowed out. Not to use too strong a term here, but I do think that southwestern Ontario has turned into a Rust Belt area. Yeah. It shows a lot of the same things that Rust Belt states have had to go through. So we need to turn it around.
What could be done about that?
I'll give you some top-level stuff, and if you want to explore any of the individual points, let me just go through it quickly. Number one, you got to balance the books. I simply believe that well-run provinces attract well-run businesses, and you keep and grow well-run businesses of your own. So job number one is actually making sure you spend within your means and you balance the budget. Number two is we need to actually get our energy rates under control. We've embarked on a very expensive path when it comes to the subsidies for wind and solar, up to 10 times the price of power. As has been demonstrated, for every short-term job you create in building a wind turbine, you're losing 2 to 4 in the broader economy, particularly in manufacturing because of higher energy costs. Number three, I do believe we need to lower taxes. That will encourage businesses to bring in a new product line, to expand their shop, to hire men and women again. The fourth thing I put on that list is modernize our labor laws. You know, the reality today is that it's not like manufacturing jobs are going to China or Indonesia. They're going across the border into Michigan, Indiana, and Wisconsin. We need to modernize our labor laws, give workers a choice if they want to belong to a union or not, and send a signal that Ontario is open up for investment. And the fifth thing I'll say, and Greg, I'll leave it at that and go into more detail, the top thing I hear from businesses, large or small, manufacturing, hospitality, just this thicket of red tape, rules and runaround that they have to cope with just to get something done. Yeah. And that's for not-for-profits, for municipalities too. It is so thick that Ontario has the thickest burden of red tape and runaround, according to the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, of any province in Canada. It costs us $11 billion a year. That's what I put on the table as part of our plan, to reduce the regulatory load by at least 1/3. And if I can't reduce the number of regulations by at least 1/3, I'll dock the pay of my cabinet, and I'll dock my pay as premier as well. to actually have the politicians' money where their mouths are and making good on their promises around jobs and our finances.
We should learn in the next little while if Andrea Horwath and Premier Kathleen Wynne have come to a deal that saves the budget, keeps the government the way it is, if Mr. Hudak remains in the opposition, or will hit the campaign trails and come through London again. For the London Free Press, I'm Randy Richmond.